Whoa. Call out. She was from the west side, uptown, 45th Ave, bad little thing, she a cutie, and she got swag, told her that when I come through, we could pop tags, took her out of town just for shopping, you know we blow it back, don't care if haters is watching, they just getting mad.
Sometimes, yeah.
And not all the time, but sometimes, and it's just like, okay, well now, me being somewhat of a control freak, you know, I'll admit that, it's like, okay, well if you can't do it right, I'm just gonna do it myself. You know, and
so what's your birthday?
I'm a Taurus, May 13th. Yeah, I'm a little bit, I mean, for more reasons than just business-wise, but I like to have a certain standard, you know, and I'm okay with a certain standard if I did it. So if you don't do it at least as well as I do it,
what's the point?
I'm not doing it.
He's like, what's the point?
Right. So I'm not going to pay somebody else for something. And I don't even like set it up to where, you know what, this is how many, let's do a contract. You want to do how many videos I'm going to pay you now. This covers whatever you put in this contract.
Right.
Okay, cool. So let's get it done. And sometimes, like I said, it's doing good up here, and then it starts falling off. And you know me, I'm always referring. Like, I refer people all over the place. I have clients that might need the same thing. I'm going to refer you all. I'm going to say, hey, you know, you need somebody that does videography and photography. You know how many videographers and photographers I have. So, or I know. So, I would have to know availability, you know, the quality of the work, and all these other things before I can refer you out. So, why not use it myself first?
Absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I have, like I said, I have so many videographers and photographers around me, including I call him my brother-in-law, my kid's uncle. But he's not always available. He might be busy. So,
absolutely. Okay. So, last question, like, what advice would you give to someone that's on the fence between, you know, working a job or, I would say, jumping off the porch?
Well, I mean, the cool thing about entrepreneurship is that you can do it with a job. You know, you can have a job and still be an entrepreneur. I think sometimes people will jump into entrepreneurship too quickly without having a good foundation. You can work a job and then take part of that job and invest into your own business.
It's true. A lot of people, one thing I got sick of people saying, you work a job. I'm like, yeah, but I make more than you.
But see, people who are real successful entrepreneurs, let's say that. Let me say that one more time.
One more time.
Real successful entrepreneurs understand that we need workers and employees.
Hello.
Like, if we all were entrepreneurs, we wouldn't even have employees ourselves. So, like, I literally have payroll. I have, right now, all year, I have one person who's my staff who works with me all year part-time. And then, of course, I'm my own employee. I'm a full-time employee of my business. Well, Joy, how does that work? It means Joy's business, JLW Tax and Financial Services, pays Joy as an employee of W-2. That's the real game. Like, I'm an employee, but I'm an employee that controls what I make and controls my hours and controls what I do. So you definitely, if everybody was a business owner, I wouldn't have anybody to hire.
Right.
So you gotta have people to hire. You know, and we need business owners. We need employees. If I'm going to order something from the office supply store, I need an employee there to put my order together for me. Like, in fact, I need somebody who's really good at their job, so I don't really have to think about it too much and say, hey, I need, oh yeah, you need this, I got you. You know, I was an excellent employee before I was an entrepreneur.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's another thing. You can't be a sub.
Everybody wants to be a boss, but nobody wants to be a worker. You got to be a good worker before you're a boss.
And not only that, being a business owner, you're never not learning. You're always learning new stuff. You're always learning new trends. You're always in some form of training or networking event or things, I work more hours as a business owner than I worked as an employee. It is not for the faint at heart. Like I said, I'll go into my office maybe 10, 11 o'clock in the morning because I don't like early mornings. But I'll leave there at 1, 2 o'clock the next morning sometimes.
But is it really work?
It is.
If it's doing something you love, is it really work?
But it's still work.
I know, but is it really work, though? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
I feel you. I'll be in the studio till 1 o'clock, but I
your
love
ups
it.
and downs, you know, your mountains and your valleys when it comes to a business. You know, you have the good things, the things you love about your business, even if you love it. You know, and then you have things that you have to deal with sometimes that you don't love.
People.
That part, but people is what pay you. So,
Right.
you know, you can have a certain level of, you know, I'm going to take, you know, this much from you, and that's still my standards. You still can't talk to me any kind of way just because I'm a business owner or a small business owner. But I am also still going to grant you the same customer service that you should get somewhere else, if not better.
Right, of course.
Way better. So, you know, some people you do have to be like, okay, like I told you earlier, our money is not good money. You have to tell them, like, you know, no thank you.
Right.
I mean, you
Some
can eat
people
my business.
aren't worth the
no,
time,
thank
aren't
you.
worth the money.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. And being a very giving, open-hearted person, you know, I have learned that I had to create boundaries.
So you being a giving-hearted person, that means
Right.
you definitely have to learn through trial and tribulation.
Exactly. And I actually had someone who, you know, let's just say an unmelanated group of people who was at a higher position when it comes to corporate America. And she actually advises corporate businesses, so like huge companies. And she said to me, I was in a group, again, I'm always networking, always in certain things. And she said, the people who enter into your services automatically saying, I got a doozy, you know, I got, you know, all this stuff going on and I really need your help and it's a mess and all those key words that, you know, people will tell you this is about to be a headache. She said, you don't discount. So for me, you know, growing up in the church and the giving nature and just who I am at the core, you know, when I hear somebody who's going through it and has a challenge and, you know, oh, this is a mess and I'm just traumatized by my current, I'm like, oh, yeah, the empathy. I'm very empath, actually. So I'm very empathetic to people. So it makes me want to be like, well, you know what, I got you. I'll take care of you and all this other stuff. But those people are the biggest headaches and they give you the most hell. And I had to learn. She told me, she said, those are the people you add tax to. You don't take it away from it.
Exactly.
You know, and I just had to learn that. So I don't necessarily do it all the time, but I keep that in mind at least that, okay, don't discount, at least don't discount. You might not add tax to it, but you can't discount something that somebody's already telling you is going to be a headache.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my price point has been something I've struggled with a lot, and I think a lot of business owners do. Especially small business owners, especially, you know, our own culture, because our own culture will make you feel guilty for your price mark when they will go somewhere else
and pay it, no problem.
And pay it with no issue.
Pay more.
Pay more. My kids actually struggle with that. Their classmates in school sometimes to tell them, well, you know, if it was Nike or something, I would buy a hoodie from you. I would pay, you know, $50 for it. But they don't understand that this particular hoodie has 5 different colors on it, which means it's expensive to print. You know, and I think actually it might have 6. But
it's a nice hoodie.
But you know, it costs a lot to print, and even though my price point is like
good quality,
it is, and I love our T-shirts and the quality of the hoodie.
It's a nice
like hoodie. Literally, I've had this hoodie for 2 years, washed regularly, and it still holds the colors and everything, and not cracked or anything. So definitely, the quality is a question when, especially switching to online or direct order. My son is concerned about the quality of the items still being the same. But so I told him, you don't know unless you try. You just try it out and see. Order one first, you know. But
drop shipping isn't that bad.
Yeah,
they're not that bad.
Who is it?
I said drop shipping.
Drop shipping, yeah.
You gotta
and
find
that's what
right
I think he would do. Yeah, I think they would do way better if they just did direct to ship or direct to print or something like that. But yeah, just understanding that Your price is your price, understanding that you're offering value to it, and people will pay it. The right customer.
So, so again, we're talking about just, buy some money, want to jump off the porch. And, you said something really important where people don't have to take the leap. You can stick your toe in the water. Right. Your toe, your foot, then your leg. You don't have to dive in, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to dive in, you know what I mean? And a lot of people online, and, unfortunately social media have you thinking that you have to, take the leap or the plunge or what have you, and that's just not the case.
Yeah. And like I said before, a lot of those people will say that, but they honestly, and I didn't really say it like this, but I'm about to say it like that, they would have to show me the proof that whatever they're doing is successful enough to only do that.
And a lot of them can't.
And a lot of them cannot. I know that from experience. A lot of them cannot. To tell me that you are surviving and actually thriving on this business that you're saying is the one that you more than likely won't be to join with you or something like that. Real business owners, and notice I changed my verbiage from entrepreneur to business owner. Okay, real business owners know that employees are necessary. Employees are a requirement. So as an employee, before you decide to jump out and just say, I'm going to quit working this job and I'm going to start my own business, make sure that you have truly researched the growth and the trending of that business, that you are going to make the money, and more than likely in today's day and age, you can literally start a business where you don't have to be there firsthand. Online businesses, we've talked about that. You can do that, and it can be making money in your sleep. And as it's making money in your sleep, you build the foundation for that. Then you can say, why am I going to work? Like, I'm getting deposits into my bank account every single day, that's making me money that has now replaced my everyday business. Or I see it trending to replace my everyday business. Then you can step out and say, you know what? Here's my 2 weeks notice.
But you know what? Only thing I have to say about that, I'm a worker. I was a worker. Only thing I say about that, because I seen a difference, in my opinion, from when I was working as a business owner to when I became a full-time business owner. There's a lot of opportunities that I had to pass up because I had to work. You know what I mean? And those opportunities probably could have put me in a better position with my business. But because I had to go punch this clock, you know what I'm saying, I missed that opportunity. So, but once again, I was making money off my business before I quit my job as well. You know what I'm saying? So I did have somewhat of a foundation to, step out on. But a lot of times when I talk to people about employment versus entrepreneurship, I really talk about taxes. Because that's the biggest difference is the taxes between being a worker and being a business owner.
It's a completely different tax code.
Right.
So we didn't really talk about that, but maybe go in depth on that on the next time.
Or on your podcast.
Or on my podcast. that I guess I'm starting soon. And it's funny because I've been thinking about it for the longest. But just different things like that. There is a completely different tax code between the employee and the entrepreneur, the business owner. Completely different tax code. And what I've started doing is even taking somebody from the basic business tax code and becoming corporate tax, being taxed as a corporation.
S class or
so
C class.
And that's a whole different ballgame when it comes to tax deductions and expenses that you can deduct. So, but I will say this, as the tax lady, as the tax queen, my biggest struggle with my tax clients or my tax business clients is understanding that the days of getting a refund should be something that you don't look for anymore. No matter how much we can deduct and how much I can save you in your taxes, paying taxes as a business owner, you can't have high income and a high refund. It just doesn't go together. You can have low income bunch of kids maybe and a high refund, low income and a decent refund, or higher income and
no refund. Right.
Or just not owing.
Or
Okay.
the tax credits.
The tax credits, yes,
As
they
a business
come
owner.
into play, and as a business owner, you come in. Right now, you got employee retention credit that everybody now is trying to get, like they was trying to get the PPP. That's a whole nother conversation too. But the
employee retention credit?
retention credit, yes, is for people who actually had employees on payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first key ingredient. You have to have had employees on payroll and pay taxes in order to get this employee retention credit tax break.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's a lot of things, just getting them to understand that just because it's being posted on social media or it's in the news, you don't always qualify for it.
Mm-mm.
But if you plan now and make some changes now, then when something like that comes back around,
exactly, you'll be able
now
to get
you
it.
can benefit
Exactly.
from it.
Exactly.
You know, so just being forward thinkers is difficult in our culture because we're more reactive versus proactive. And I learned that when I was doing financial literacy and the credit thing. It's like a lot of times when you get a client, it's because they were already in a mess, in a bind, and they wanted to get out of it quickly. And I'm like, but when you was getting those collection letters and, you know, like a year ago, before they actually hit and tried to come after you for a judgment, I could have fixed it there. You know, now it's going to cost you a lot more money and time. So it's just learning to be, or teaching, hopefully teaching to be more proactive in the business and everything else, knowing the numbers. I just posted that I'm doing a bookkeeping course that's self-paced. People need to understand their numbers and understand how to do their own bookkeeping. And if not, you need to hire somebody else that can do their bookkeeping. But you still need to understand some aspect
Absolutely.
of it.
You gotta know
you
how
don't
to do
want
it
somebody
yourself.
that's doing your numbers for you and start
Taking your money. Exactly.
you know, I'm just gonna put this here. You know, while I'm doing your taxes.
You do it all the time.
Yeah. So you gotta understand.
Watching the numbers, watching the numbers,
Right. So, but you still gotta understand some part of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if, like, for instance, my son, he's an artist just like your daughter, he doesn't want to think about the numbers and the money and math and come on now. They just want to draw and paint and design.
Same thing as musicians and artists.
Right. So, and I even have hairstylists and things like that. They don't want to think about the numbers. Like, I wanted to hair for a reason. I didn't want to do all of that. But you gotta make a decision. Either you learn or you pay somebody you trust to handle it for you. Can't just not be done, especially if you want to grow.
Especially if you want to grow and take
expand
advantage of
your
those
business.
opportunities.
Right. So, but yeah, I definitely get a lot of calls after the fact, like, "Hey, I heard this. Can I do it? Am I eligible?" No.
You called me last year. You would have been eligible. You would have made sure you was
what I
eligible.
told you to do last year.
Right.
You would have been eligible. So, but yeah, I'm always a forward thinker when it comes to that. That's what sets me apart in this industry from anybody else, is that I educate my clients. I tell them what moves they can make now that's going to affect them 2 or 3 years positively later on. So yeah, you're not going to find that anywhere else.
All that being said, I do want to thank you once again for being a guest. Again, Carlisle, Joi Wilson. Please tell people where they can get in contact with you, so they can conduct some business with you.
Well, you can actually text, well, maybe not text right now, but my number is 234-564-0349. I have a new one that I was trying to think of, but I can't think of it right this second. And also my website is jlwtaxfinancial.com. You can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram at the @ JLWTax. And then I also am on there as joy.taxquick on Instagram. And that's probably the best way to get in touch with me, social media.
So once again, Quiet Taste Show. Carlisle, we out of here. Tune in.